بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. كيف حالكم؟ Alhamdulillah. My beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, in our fiqh this evening, we are still in Kitab al-Talaq, the chapter of divorce. And last week, we were looking at the various scenarios where a man mentions or pronounces one or two or three talaqs. And one brother, mashallah, reminded me last week to actually, differentiate between whether a talaq is issued intentionally or via, a joke, in jest. Does it have the same effect? So we reflect on the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that thalathun jidduhunna jid wa hazluhunna jid. That three things, whether you do it seriously or as a joke, they apply. An-nikahu, getting married. Wat-talaqu, issuing a divorce. War-raj'a, and taking the wife back. So, if you do it with a serious nature or as a joke, they apply in those instances. So we spoke about the issuances last week. This evening, a very, very interesting area. This evening, we're looking at one particular mas'ala, one particular issue that the Shaykh has written about. And we refer to this within the laws of marriage and divorce as the 4-month rule. And the rule that we have here in fiqh is that sexual intimacy must occur once within a 4-month period. That is the general rule for all married couples. That the right that the wife has on the husband, or the husband has on the wife, is that there must be intimacy at least once in a 4-month period. And the Shaykh has written about this in the chapter of Talaq, because we now get a particular scenario if this does not occur. What are the grounds? So let's go to the text, inshallah. The Shaykh writes, وَإِذَا حَلَفَ أَنْ لَا يَطَعَ زَوْجَتَهُ مُطْلَقًا أَوْ مُدَّةً تَزِيدُ عَلَى 4 أشهر فَهُوَ مُولٍ. The Shaykh says, if the husband forgoes having intercourse with his wife forever, or for a period exceeding 4 months, then he is called mulin. He is a mul. Maybe he's a fool, but the fiqh writes him as a mul, mulin. He is someone who is considered that individual who has given up this area. And because of that status, there is now a fiqh ruling that applies. That if 4 months have passed, and the Shaykh continues writing, he is given a grace period if she asks for separation, which is 4 months. After those 4 months, then he is given the choice between reconciliation and atonement or divorce. If he refuses to divorce her, the Shaykh says, طَلَّقَ عَلَيْهِ الْحَاكِمِ, that the ruler, the Islamic ruler, the Imam, the Shaykh, has the authority to order the divorce. So let's quickly look at the important points from this. First point for every married couple, every single married couple, irrespective of your age or length of marriage. I must mention this because sometimes we think we get to a certain age and then they say, Bhati, No. The ruling applies to every marriage. General ruling that intimacy must occur once in a 4-month period. Now we have the scenario that if the couple, another point, if the couple is going to be apart for more than 4 months, then explicit permission is then needed, because the marital right is within 4 months, there should be intimacy. If the husband does not want to be intimate with his wife, right, and 4 months have been reached, the lady is at liberty to request separation from him. And the ulama differ on that separation. Some say it is separation from the bed. So the lady can tell the man, we're not going to share a bed because you have not been intimate with me for 4 months. Other ulama say it can be complete separation, another home, but that is the lesser opinion. Once that 4-month period is reached, the husband now goes into a 4-month grace period. This is a dangerous time, because within that 4-month grace period, the husband is then required to make amends. Because if 4 months have passed and he hasn't slept with her in that 4 months, he must now make amends. And also, he must note that he's already committed a sin, and there will be what we call kafara upon him, atonement, which I will talk about in a future lesson. If no amends are made, then the husband must be asked to divorce her. So she can ask him after the 4-month grace period, listen, I warned you at 4 months, and then another 4 months are about to conclude. At the conclusion of that 4 months, he should then release her if she asks to be released. And if he refuses, the authority is then transferred to the imam to issue the fasq, the annulment. So this is the general ruling of intimacy. And of course, we get the divorce scenario here. There are exceptions to this 4-month rule. Some might be wondering. Exceptions to it. The first is the medical or health reason. So if a lady or a man, whichever party, is unable to be intimate within a 4-month period due to medical or health reasons, the exception is granted. But an effort must be made to resolve the medical challenge. So if there's a medical problem, a health reason, you have to explore, because it is a marital right, a foundational right of the marriage, that the couple is intimate. The lack of intimacy would be grounds, as we've seen there, for an annulment. The second area is old age, and a lovely area in fiqh that is debated. When is old age? There isn't a number given. Firstly, there's no number given to old age. But in fiqh, we talk about ajuz, the person who reaches old age and has no longer desire. Right? They no longer have a sexual desire. So the ulama have written about this period. If for marital intimacy to be taken off the table, both parties must be ajuz. Both husband and wife must no longer have a desire. Reach that stage, then the right falls away. But if one party becomes ajuz and the other one is not yet there, then there is still a right of intimacy within the marriage. And the couple has to find a way to fulfill that right. Okay? And the general advice is that couples must maintain a healthy, intimate life, because it is the purpose of the marriage. All right? And we often find, that I'm sure many are listening and watching this nasiha, attending, thinking this probably affects maybe a certain category of people. No, it doesn't. Marital intimacy is one of the lack of intimacy is one of the main reasons why couples start facing difficulty. Another important point is intimacy is not a mechanism that either party must use to punish the other. So if the wife is unhappy with her husband, she should not use intimacy as a punishment, saying, you know what, you didn't buy the bread, so you don't get the jam, And the wife And the husband, the same way, should not use it. It is a foundational right of the marriage. That must not be touched. The minute you touch it, you are infringing upon what Allah has explicitly made permissible for husband and wife. And it affects couples of all ages. We conclude this evening by recognizing that intimacy must occur once in a 4-month period. And if the husband has not slept with his wife for what we say 4 months plus 4 months, 4 months of the requirement and then 4 months grace, upon that basis the lady would then have grounds to request divorce. Any questions regarding this masala? Jazakallah khairan wa sallallahu wa sallam ala wa alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.